My name is Sarah Morgan. For 10 years, I worked as the facility security officer at a defense company. I was not the loudest person in the room or the one giving presentations to investors. I was the person who made sure everything followed federal rules and that the company kept its security clearance. One day, the CEO called me into a meeting with HR. He smiled and told me that my position was no longer necessary because the company was restructuring. They believed they could replace my experience with a cheaper employee and a new management strategy. I remained calm. I handed over my badge, signed the exit papers, and walked out without an argument. What they failed to understand was that my clearance and my role were essential to maintaining the company's defense contracts. Before leaving, I followed every official procedure. I notified the proper government agencies that my responsibilities had ended and submitted all required documents. I did not damage anything or hide information. I simply followed the rules. Soon after my departure, the company started facing problems. Emails to government contacts stopped receiving responses. Vendors paused shipments, classified projects were delayed, and important contracts were placed under review. The CEO had appointed a replacement named Tyler, but he had no security clearance and no authority to perform my duties. The company continued submitting paperwork with my old information, not realizing they were creating serious compliance violations. Days later, government officials reviewed the situation and discovered the company had no authorized facility security officer. Their security status was suspended, major contracts were canceled, and the company entered a federal investigation. Inside the company, panic spread. Lawyers searched through paperwork, executives blamed one another, and employees realized the entire organization had depended on a role they considered unimportant. The CEO tried to blame me, suggesting I had not prepared the company properly before leaving. However, the legal review showed that I had completed every requirement correctly. The failure was not my departure, it was their decision to remove a critical role without understanding its importance. Eventually, the CEO resigned, the company lost valuable contracts, and the board had to rebuild its entire security and compliance system from the beginning. I moved forward with my career and accepted a position with another defense company. I did not celebrate their failure because I had never wanted revenge. The lesson was simple. The strongest parts of a company are often the people who work quietly behind the scenes. Leaders who ignore experience, responsibility, and expertise may not realize their mistake until the foundation they removed causes everything above it to fall. I did not destroy the company. I simply stepped away and allowed the consequences of their choices to catch up with them.